In Toronto, we're catching up with Bob McWhirter, President of Selective Asset Management. Bob, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So can you talk to us about what's under your radar currently?
Well, historically, I've invested in small cap technology, industrial, and healthcare companies, and a number of those, I think, provide interesting opportunities. Most of the companies I'll be talking about, we actually have investments for our own family money. The first one will be pyrogenesis, which uses extremely high temperature plasma torches for the destruction of nasty chemicals. But of more interest in the near term is their 3D printing division, where historically they've produced extremely precise titanium balls that are of interest to 3D printing. They've talked about the start of the production from their own machine as of the 1st of April. They're expecting to ramp up over the next 4 months to be able to bring that into production. They also talked to that not only will they make titanium, but they'll also end up making nickel, which I think is an also interesting business.
Right.
Separate of that, they historically have talked about their Dross-Wright division, which then takes, if you want to call it crudely, the scum off the pudding when you're creating aluminum. They basically had a sale into Mexico. They have to take that sale from the foundry and also sell a similar device to the U.S. parent as well. And also the market itself for aluminum is significant, but it also is a similar problem for both copper as well as zinc refining. So it's a huge opportunity that they think it can address in the future.
Right.
And then also they have the HPQ opportunity, where they're taking low quality quartz, using their methodology and working towards producing industrial silicon. And if that is successful, it also should be quite attractive. They have a 10% sales royalty, where HPQ is effectively fronting the cost of the development of the device, and again, a 10% trailing royalty.
Now, one question about Pyro. Are they leaders in the field? If they have any competition, how are they overcoming certain barriers?
Well, specifically with regard to the kind of titanium printing side, they originally had sold a device to a Canadian company and licensed it to them. That company, to the best of my recollection, was acquired recently by General Electric. General Electric then acquired two 3D printing companies which use the different sizes of titanium that the device produces. That then creates an opportunity for pyrogenesis, because there are a number of competitors to General Electric that are in the 3D printing, in the manufacturing business, and they prefer to end up buying supply from pyrogenesis rather than from General Electric. So again, an exploding opportunity, very much happening on the 3D printing side in the industrial space, not so much in the kind of educational and or home use, if you wish, but in the industrial side, it's really, really going well. And as an example, I met with the folks from Exco Technologies, a mold making company here in Canada, and they talked for the first time about using 3D printing to print steel. And it's the first time that I'd heard the word steel and 3D printing connected, but their comment is when they use the molds to end up making exotic transmission parts, etc., and molds, one of the keys is controlling the heat and the cooling of the mold itself. And their description is, look, when we use 3D printing, we can create different shaped channels inside the mold rather than just a straight line from drilling a hole. And that then gives them a great opportunity to provide faster throughput cycles as well as better life for the molds themselves. So lots going on in the 3D printing space.
Yeah, and now moving on, let's talk about, I understand that you have Robix also under your radar. What's going on with that company? Okay,
Robix Environmental, symbol is RZX. This is the company that in summer of last year described an opportunity that they have with Pemex, which is the state Mexican oil company. They're looking at using it to end up separating oil from water. So they have a device that uses two slow-moving kind of steel drums to do that. The water that's left over then needs to be further kind of processed. Robix acquired a company that can do that further processing. Generically, it's called polishing of water, and in its ultimate stage, it uses reverse osmosis. That subsidiary company is got some interesting opportunities in Canada, and there's the potential of applying that technology to the Pemex opportunity as well. Separate of the Pemex portion directly, the Mexican Navy, which operates similar to the U.S. kind of Coast Guard, has also expressed interest in smaller versions of Robix's technology. And the advantage of Robix is that they don't sell their devices, very much like the Hughes Tool Company. Hughes basically said, look, we're not going to sell you the drilling bit, we're going to lease it. Same thing here. They lease the devices on five-year terms. The payback on the equipment is about a year, and then the kind of subsequent revenue is extremely profitable, so you don't end up having to have a lot of people in the field.
Right.
You just end up basically working on your golf game and collecting the royalty check. So
Right.
that recurring revenue portion is quite attractive, in addition to the technology itself of Robix. So we own it ourselves and have a significant position in the stock.
Great. Now, is there anything for, let's say, the healthcare industry that you're interested in currently?
Yes, a healthcare company that I've followed for quite a while is SQI Diagnostics. They're suggesting that their sales in 2016 were about $1.5 million. They're suggesting 2017 might have sales that would be roughly double of that, somewhere in the $3.5 to $5 million range. In 2018, they expect a potential 50 to 100% lift as well, to $8 to $10 million. Most significant was that the CEO, Andrew Morris, recently suggested that they expect to be cash flow break even at the end of calendar 2017.
Right, and how are they getting there?
Well, remember that their device is used effectively to end up doing assays, particularly of blood. The advantage is that rather than doing one tiny assay in each time, they can end up doing, in some cases, well in excess of 40 different tests, all from the same drop of blood. The advantage is that dramatically reduces the labor cost as well. And they've got a number of companies that have originally used them for developing kind of drugs in the kind of simple pilot stage, now moving on to clinical phases, so that in itself is significantly increasing the kind of volumes.
Right.
They've also talked about opportunities in the animal health side where people will quite happily pay a large amount of money to make sure that their pets are in great health, and this is the case where they're looking at an opportunity where they end up saying that some of the allergy tests as to what might, as an example, your dog be allergic to, they're doing tests of up to 40 different allergies at once. There's another opportunity in California where the California company does about 1,000 tests per month. They have an 80% confidence, the test that the California company has, with 80% confidence that they can tell you within 5 years that you may or may not have a significant heart problem.
Right.
They've suggested that the California company has recently hired 8 new salespeople. It'll take about 4 or 5 months to figure out whether or not SQI's product will satisfy their needs. If so, they suggest that that might end up leading to 250,000 tests over the next 12 months at $17 each, which would be about $4 million worth of revenue. And again, the beauty of this is an ongoing recurring revenue model at very attractive 75+% gross profit margins.
All right, great.
So pretty good. And the last one of the bunch is CyMat. It's a small Canadian company, grossly illiquid stock. The symbol is Charlie Yellow Michael, CYM. Stock's trading around 26 cents per share. Their architectural business effectively puts small bubbles into aluminum so that they can put it on the side of the buildings. They're expecting that they have a fiscal year end, which is April. Their April of 2018 fiscal year, they're suggesting would be cash flow break even on the architectural side. They also have a military side of their business, and they also have 3 opportunities that they've been working on for 3 years, and they're hopeful that one of those 3 opportunities might pan out over the next, hopefully between now and the end of the year. As well as some other very interesting things that they're doing. So it's a company that recently putting money into, again, grossly liquid, but because of the cash flow break even we're expecting in fiscal 2018, we think there's a good opportunity for the stock. If they end up getting one of the 3 opportunities, stock currently roughly 25 to 28 cents, we think would probably, might see a 50% lift in price based on the potential success of some of their opportunities.
Right. Well, Bob, thank you for all those stock picks today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you.